All right, and we are live at long last. Sorry for the holdup. So once again, I am joined by Mr. Billy Bong. Welcome back
Good
from your
evening.
hiatus.
Good evening, everyone. Reese,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm good. Billy is sick a little bit, so he's a real trooper tonight. So give him some credit. And if you haven't subscribed to his channel already, I have a link to it in the description. So do me a big favor and go over there. Let's get him back up to 9,000. How about?
Yeah, why not? I'm sick as a dog, so if I don't sound as sexy, I'm sorry to everyone out there.
There's gonna be someone in the comment section. Oh God, this guy's voice.
I know there's people probably watching that hate me.
Anyone in the chat hate this guy?
No, I don't think anyone in the chat does yet. We'll
Not
see what
yet.
happens by the end of this stream.
That's a promise, not a threat. A promise.
I haven't lost 400 subs lately for no reason. There's a reason.
Yeah, that's a good segue because it's been a while since I had you on proper. What's properly? I guess I think most of the times you've come on recently
and shit right now.
Yeah, you would just kind of pop on a random stream while I was half intoxicated, and we didn't really talk about anything of any importance.
That was last time, yeah. Well, we talked a little Israel shit.
Yeah. So it hasn't been too long since then, but basically, what's been happening on your channel lately?
What does that mean? What do you mean by happening? Like, what have
I guess
been
just
talking about? What?
Yeah, audience reactions. What you've made videos on? Any of that?
Lately, okay, I did like 2 videos. Wait, let me go check it out. I did a video on Israel. That was like when I talked to you. I had just put that one out actually on the March of Return.
Yes.
And then I put one out recently was about Tommy Robinson and Anjem Choudhury. Like, they would some site was trying to say they're exactly the same. They preach hate and all this shit, and I was like, that's a little ridiculous. Like,
I hope we can all agree that's a bad take.
It's weird because I've been doing more content that's not what I used to do. So I've been getting a lot more hate lately, and I'm assuming that's why, because I'm not sticking to the topics I once stuck to, really. Because I mostly was just doing videos about Islam, and then recently, I attacked the other side a little bit, and they had a problem with
it. they don't like looking in the mirror. It's
but it's like, I don't know. I was never a conservative. What fucking gave anyone that idea, dude? Like,
you go after
my name is Billy Bong. I smoke fucking weed. First of all, like, I'm not religious. Like, what the fuck did they think?
Yeah, it's kind of weird that if you talk about certain issues, they try to very tribally put you in a box. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but did you feel, because obviously a lot of your videos are anti-Islam, did you feel kind of an obligation to make those kind of like that's what the audience wanted? What, I guess?
No, I was really into it. I was really into all the research I was doing, and I was heated about the whole thing because there are all these terror attacks going around the Western world, and I thought it was a very serious topic and it needed to be talked about, and I didn't see a lot of atheist channels talking about it. Like, there was Devin Wood, you would, a couple others, Hagbar did good ones, a couple other people, but it wasn't really like the main big people on YouTube at the time. Sargon threw one in every now and then. It's pretty, like, every fucking video I did was basically about Islam, like at least 150 out of like 200.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely is a big deal, and I wouldn't discount that. I just think that sometimes we can build up an expectation for our audience, like this is what the channel's about, and when you deviate from the path, they get a little, it doesn't matter what you talk about. It obviously stings a little bit if you're going after a position that they hold, but I feel like that's going to freak out any portion of an audience. They're gonna be like, "What is this? This is different." I just don't like it,
because I don't want to like watch a channel I like, and then all of a sudden they're saying all these things I disagree with. It's like just not as fun to watch their videos, I
Sure.
get it, I totally get it, but I think I was good enough at giving out hints to all this shit. Like I would always say, like, trust me, Christianity's no fucking whatever, but right now Islam is this. And like, so people knew that I had these opinions about, Christianity, just because I wasn't making videos. And I would never want, Christianity to get more power that it had just gotten taken away from it within the years before. Why would I ever want to give them back any power? Just because Islam is fucking doing crazy shit? No.
That's
the more
solution.
Reason to want to keep it underground, like, under wraps.
Obviously, the solution to a crazy problem is to put crazy people in charge to solve it. That won't end badly.
Well, what I liked, like, what the thing, like, the first things I started doing that weren't about Islam were, the porch atheist shit. Like that was like the first thing that like took me away from doing like any videos about Islam or BLM and shit like that. Like seeing atheists saying stupid shit in my comments if I mentioned something about Christianity, and I was like, what the fuck? What is this shit? And then like a year later, Sam Harris says it, and I'm like, what? I experienced this before Sam Harris? Are you fucking crazy? How is that fucking possible?
Yeah, no, and it's never ended. That particular phenomenon has continued. I'll tell you,
still going.
Oh yeah,
it's just don't even want to bother arguing with these people because it's like so tiring. It's so tiring. Like,
on the other side, though, I have to say I'm not all that satisfied still with the atheist community's take on Islam. I think that it's been very shallow, very superficial.
How so?
I don't think it is. It's not interesting to me to go after the Muslim equivalent of creationists, is what I'm basically getting.
Oh, not at all. No, I that is boring as fuck to me.
Like it's the exact same shit.
I think like Logic does that. I like Logic's videos, but
sure,
like, I can't do that shit. Like
it's not intellectually stimulating at this point.
It's not. But that's why I would always do videos on like the terror attacks or like, like where places where they're trying to get, special privilege within schools and things like that, which they shouldn't be getting because, state and church separation and all that. So like that's why I was doing videos about that kind of stuff, because I like just going through refuting arguments against Islam would have been fucking insane because I don't know the Quran that well, and
it's obviously untrue and not worth debating.
Like, do I have to fucking have a video about Muhammad flying to the fucking moon on a horse, on a fucking whatever it was, a unicorn, a horse, whatever the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's
splitting the bullshit. No.
What's interesting is if you want to talk about the terrorism or the effect on schools, these are very real social or political effects of a religion. I think this actually stems from a deeper problem for a lot of atheists, and that is, I think, a desire to stay in the sandbox forever and just kind of, toy around with very easy ideas. But for me, I thought one of the reasons, to be an atheist was to live in reality. And even though the religions themselves are not true, many people do believe they're true, and they act out on them in social and political ways and violent ways. And that is the next stage. That is worth talking about. It's not only are the religions untrue, but the religions have a very real, concrete footprint on our world. And
that's the more important thing, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, human lives are at stake here with that. And if you really care about humanity at all, I don't, honestly, in my lifetime, what am I going to do? Nothing, right? I'm not going to fucking be some savior for people, right? I'm not going to save people's lives by what I'm doing. I would hope it would in the long run, but I know that that's not going to be the outcome, But it's worth talking about, and maybe someone can fucking do that. I've actually changed minds in my comment section, so that's crazy to me.
Oh yeah, that's always crazy.
So, but am I gonna be is anything I say gonna stop someone from fucking committing a terror act? I doubt it.
Yeah, no. All you can. Social media does have an effect on public perception, though, and if an idea gains enough steam and momentum and does become popular within society, you can drastically affect how people react to terror attacks, how they respond to them, what steps they take to prevent similar attacks from happening in the future. I feel like a lot of people might feel powerless, but I feel more optimistic that it does add up to something meaningful at the end of the day. Maybe not all the time, but with certain messages, there is a real effect.
It's just sad that still in the media, every time an attack happens, right away you get the people trying to point fingers somewhere else and say, it's not the religion, and that fucking drives me crazy.
Yeah, no, because they obviously they're doing the same thing we're doing, but they just have a much bigger platform and more quote credibility for whatever that's worth.
Well, I'm sure hopefully most of them took journalism at least. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a journalist of any kind. That's crazy.
We are total journalists.
Oh yeah, alternative media, baby.
Alternative facts, even.
Facts.
The whole social effects of religion thing, it pisses me off because people like Christian apologists, like Friended, they try to act like that's the only argument that people in the atheist community make against him, which is, oh, the religion's untrue, so therefore it's bad and in all aspects. And I think the argument is a lot more complicated and nuanced than that.
They're arguing for a placebo effect. Why?
Yeah, it's very irresponsible.
Friend is basically just saying, this stuff has a placebo effect on people, so let's just use it. What's the problem?
They don't. I remember I talked about this. I made a video against Stefan Molyneux I called him the poster boy of porch atheism, because he is.
Real quick before you get into it.
Okay, go ahead.
I like the video where he fucking it.
Oh my
What was the title of it again? What was that about again? He thought it was what?
He thought it was anti-white propaganda.
That was great. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I would recommend people watch that video, because I think I went into detail why, how wrong he really was. But his video on atheism. So Stefan Molyneux is an atheist, and he believes that religion is not factual. But in this interview, he was on the Rubin Report, and he's talking about using the threat of hellfire to basically enforce certain moral values in society. I mean, it's bad enough if you're a religious person, but if you are an atheist who has some form of secular morality and is able to live your life day to day perfectly fine, to me, it is the most like ghastly, irresponsible thing you could possibly advocate for. It is bordering on evil to even suggest such a thing, to suggest putting that level of fear and manipulating people to that degree. People who really just, can't help it. If a person's indoctrinated and you're preying on their worst fears,
well, aren't they all like supposedly anti-authoritarian?
Yeah,
always the anti-authoritarians come out to be authoritarians. Like, oh wait, you know what? We can't do it like this. We have to fucking control it. It's the only fucking way. It always winds up like that somehow.
It's just ridiculous. It's clearly not an ethical way of conducting yourself in society, but they seem to see no issue with it.
It's just Islam, bro. That's it. It's the only reason, man. Everything else would be great, according to them. It's too frustrating, these people. But that's why, like, one of those first videos I made was with Dave Cullen. That video he made, it was retarded.
Oh.
He's like, oh, I used to be a militant atheist. And I'm like, you sound like a fucking idiot. You sound like a fucking Christian. That's why I heard that and I was like shocked. I was like, he sounds like a fucking Christian. Like, I used to be a militant atheist, but then I grew up and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Wait, so you once thought religion was bad, but now it's not bad? I don't get it.
Apparently that's growing up. I don't know how.
This is your life process. Religion sucks, you hate it, then you realize there's no God and you're like, fuck religion, it's bad, and then you grow up and you're like, religion's good.
something happened and it rhymes with Hatreon. something changed in your life, sir.
Yeah, it could be it, I guess. You can't accuse everyone of that, I guess, but
I don't know. It's money speaks. That's all I'll say.
It does. It definitely does. Like, I don't think Andy Warski likes what he's doing.
I know he doesn't like what he's doing. That's why he keeps trying to change it up. Like every couple of weeks, he's like, "Okay, we have a new format. Fuck it."
This guy's a little wacky. He's with now.
Who's he with now?
Jay Dyer. I don't even know who he is, but I've heard him say a couple of stupid things. He mentioned Bilderberg. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, no, that guy is a straight up like Illuminati. Like he searches through Hollywood for symbols. Insano. That's all you need to know.
And so that's pretty fucking wacky. that is definitely something I've noticed, that the right has become way more conspiratorial lately. They're fucking crazy with some of these conspiracies.
It's a little funny, but it gets old pretty quick.
Anthony Bourdain, he was gonna talk about Hillary Clinton. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, like he didn't commit suicide. Yeah. It was like a political assassination. Yeah.
No evidence whatsoever, just because he tweeted something a week before or something.
Of course there's no evidence. Why does there need to be?
It only makes sense, bro. How else could that have happened? That's like Ancient Aliens. They're like, how else could it have been done? If not for the aliens. There's no other way to explain it.
That's funny. I kind of wanted to get into that intellectual dark web thing. But real quick, this is a really sloppy segue. What do you think?
Sloppy segues.
Like sloppy segues. Seconds. That's actually going to be the name of our podcast.
Sloppy segues.
What do you make of the intellectual dark web?
I don't even really know what the fuck it is, honestly. What is it? Just a group of people that?
Yeah, did you read that article by
No, I
Barry
didn't.
Weiss?
I didn't. But I know I've heard Dave Rubin was pushing that shit a while ago. I know that. So I didn't
Yeah,
really pay attention much to it.
he was well, we've both been very critical of him. Um
And I what you know I wasn't at first. You were on his ass way before I was. But like cuz I wasn't getting into the I wasn't I don't know. I wasn't getting on him for not saying shit. I was just listening to the shit he was saying, and then like he started saying some other shit that started to annoy me, and then I would hear more and more. So I'm like, all right. And like it was early on, also after he had like switched over to when he started doing the Rubin report. So I wanted to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, also. But,
oh yeah, I at first like when he left the Young Turks, I was very much in favor of what he was
mhm.
doing. I was ecstatic that someone from within that hideous echo chamber got out and was talking shit to Jank, and he was going to do his own show and have other people on, and it seemed like a great idea. I think honestly, I've grown less critical. Not that I like Dave Rubin. I don't want to make it sound like that. I have talked about him a lot
Oh yeah,
less.
you've done. I've only
He's
like
he's not
fucked
relevant
with him
in
once
my
or twice
mind.
on my channel. Like really, and people like fucking hated that too. That was so funny. I get so mad.
He the novelty has died down at this point. And I mean, there are some people who, I mean, honestly, the people who talk about Dave Rubin's like every sneeze and left step every day, it's pretty pathetic, I think.
What was that fucking asshole? Tom Bloke.
Yeah,
Fucking.
it's basically Tom Bloke and a bunch of Tom Bloke ripoffs who talk shit about Dave Rubin all day. Like it's one thing, like, and these are the same people who would be like, oh, Trump's in office, and we have a Republican controlled government. Why are you not talking about that? Why are you talking about college feminists? Meanwhile, they spend all their time bitching about Rubin and Peterson. Like you're no better. Like you're like the exact same. You're the other side of that shitty coin. Don't
Oh
act
yeah,
like
for
you're
sure.
better.
But that's the thing, like with like Ruben and shit, like now, like you could see obviously now what he won't talk about and then what he will talk about in an instant. Like in the same breath that he won't, he doesn't he wants to keep the conversation open, right? But he's so willing to criticize one side and the other one he like has to, oh, but maybe not. It's a little too obvious already.
He's just a partisan, and I mean, there's so many of those. It's
But
kind
it's
of
like
weird.
we said this, like if you can go from one side to the other just like that, you obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about, or you're fucking playing games. Because like I'm not gonna swing to the whole opposite side of where I am out of nowhere. Like it's just like how could you be fucking that old and have such a sway? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know if he's really talked about it that much. Like what
Well, he still tries to say he's not right wing. Like even in the Sam Harris thing,
he's
he was
given
like
like
Sam Harris
vague.
thing. He's like, oh yeah, the right winger, the gay right winger, gay married right winger who is for you know prison reform and this and that. You know his spiel already.
I mean, like I wouldn't
He
even.
mentions these four things that he does that isn't right wing, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad defense. Dave Rubin is more a libertarian than a conservative. I'm not even going to like make a big deal out of like you need to call Dave Rubin a right winger. All you need to know is Dave Rubin, he's a water carrier for right wing politics. He obviously has a bias toward them. He obviously has a bias towards right wing political figures. I think if anyone denies that, you're retarded and you obviously aren't paying attention. But I mean, he's just not worth it most of the time. So we kind of got off on a tangent, but he was included in this intellectual dark web article. Other people were, including the Weinsteins, Sam Harris, Peterson.
The
was mentioned.
Weinsteins.
Yeah, Eric and Brett.
Yeah, I don't really know them that much.
Christina Hoff Sommers.
Christina Hoff Sommers.
Yeah, so I mean, they're certainly not the most controversial people in society. I did have an article. We're just gonna read it now. Fuck it, because it was so funny. Let me screen share. Okay. So this is a blog. So they had a day of reflection. This is an event that's going to happen in November, including a lot of these people, including Sam Harris, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Maajid Nawaz, Douglas Murray.
Maajid Nawaz, the alt-right.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at this. Let me zoom in on this list. Okay. Here are the people. Here are some of the people who are going to be at this event. Look how many of them are non-white and or gay. And you tell me that this is the alt-right get-together. And women, too.
Mike Enoch's coming up next.
Yeah, Mike Enoch is in the more section. They just didn't. He was too controversial to put on the poster. Oh my god. Okay.
A lot of these people, not a lot of them even, Douglas Murray could be considered right wing, I guess.
Yeah, but Sam I mean, Harris, is that really such a bad thing?
Ayaan, I don't know what you would consider her. I don't really know her politics. I only know her fucking thoughts on Islam. I don't know anything else about it.
A lot of people have tried to smear her politically because she's gone on Fox News.
And the right wing talks to her because anytime the left will talk to her, they're dogging her. So I mean, I understand why she does it. It's probably not the smartest move if she doesn't want to be considered right wing.
An interview is an interview. Getting your ideas out there, I really can't fault anyone.
No, I know, but like Ruben, he has a lot of right wing guests on, so there's always a pattern. So you could fault them, but I get in her case, she's trying to get her story out. I don't know what. I really honestly don't know any of her other politics, so I couldn't tell you if she was right wing or not.
At
I don't think anyone can, but they just say she is because she's on those shows.
Yeah, at the very least, she's calling her alt-right is pretty ridiculous. A black
ex-Muslim.
This is called Masha Gessen quits intellectual dark web panel after accidentally joining alt-right shit show. Masha Gessen is obviously she is a Russian LGBT activist with a journalist who has a pretty important history and career in that field. Yeah, she's worth looking into. So, just for the purpose of reading this, she is a person with a pretty high reputation of activism. The organizers of a panel celebrating self-identified members of the intellectual dark web, a very serious circle mostly consisting of men who really don't want you to call them alt-right. I mean, I can't think of too many people who would want to be called alt-right, honestly, in my personal life.
It's funny the way people write. It's just that they're too
we're not even a full sentence in, and I can feel the venom.
Exactly. It's like, oh, what don't you want to be called? Let's call you it in a newspaper article and then see how you like it. If you want to be called that. Or you can have the same reaction and not want to be called that.
The intellectual dark web full of fucking men. Ugh. have persuaded a few real-life intellectuals into joining them on stage for a day of reflection at Lincoln Center later this year. New Yorker contributor and author Masha Gessen tells Gothamist she was shocked to learn last night that an event she agreed to speak at is actually an alt-right shit show. So granted, she's a respectable person, but
I didn't know she wrote for New Yorker.
She called it that. She called it an alt-right shit show for seemingly no reason. Hosted by a racism debunking podcaster, David Rubin.
What does that mean?
Race, I guess he denies racism. I didn't actually think that was the focus of his show.
That's definitely not what he does.
No, he's a libertarian. Focused on such illuminating questions as, has Me Too gone too far? Can we move beyond race? And does Islam pose a unique challenge to modernity? Though apparently those are the triggering topics.
Questions, yeah.
And if you look at this, that's not the main event. Is reason sacred? So none of these are even the main talking point of the event, but these things were going. And by the way, these are all completely legitimate conversations. But apparently, we're just going to sweep them under the rug. What this rhetoric tells me, they're basically saying, no, we can't move beyond race because we are racial identitarians.
We can't move beyond race because there's too many racists. that's why they don't. That's what they think,
They probably take, they don't obviously like calling out Islam specifically. That's Islamophobic and racist. And any questioning of the Me Too movement is just utter blasphemy to these people. Like, just keep going with the narrative, keep ramping it up. Never take a moment for self-reflection at all. The way I learned about it is that I was at home watching a movie with my kids, and I saw my Twitter feed go nuts, and strangers are direct messaging me asking, why the hell are you taking part in this? Gessen said. There's a lot of people who watch out for my ideological purity where I don't think it's appropriate, but I looked at this and was like, holy shit. So I immediately told my agent I was pulling out. See, that's weird to me.
Well, who did she see that was troubling to her?
Yeah, that's very strange. I don't actually have the full list, but I believe Peterson will be at the event. But I would expect to see his name here. So if anyone in the chat knows, obviously these are the headlining people. Like, these are the people listed here are the big names that people will know. Doesn't really look like an alt-right shit show to me. And I really question why she would agree to go to an event where she doesn't know who's going to be on the panel. Like, how does that even happen?
Just sign me up. Yeah, sure. How much? Okay.
You must have a really shitty agent. I don't understand how that's even possible. I feel like also part of, and this is, I can't confirm this. This is just a thought. I think that she did know who was going to be there. But, as soon as, you start getting backlash, then that's when you're like, oh, whoa, this is a surprise. Let me pull out and then I'll be okay. Part of me believes that's what happened.
Imagine I didn't do a video because a bunch of people came to me on Twitter.
Oh, no, don't talk about that. Don't, or even worse, don't talk to these people because this is clearly too much.
Why? Like, I don't understand. Like, you could say whatever you want to these people if you're on stage with them and you disagree with it. like why? Like, it's just like, pull out. Fuck that. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is a pretty diverse group of people. I don't see the issue. But whatever, what do I know? Gessen notes that when she agreed to take part, she'd only been informed of the name of the Me Too discussion, which gave me pause, but I thought the lineup seemed really serious. Information on the panel distributed to Gessen's agent through the event organizer Pangburn Philosophy made it seem like she'd be appearing alongside other women. Oh my God, typos. Don't look what they're doing. This pisses me off. Other thoughtful women like New York Times investigative reporter Jodi Kantor. But immediately after she signed a contract, publicity materials went out showing a wholly different set of speakers, almost all of them far-right personalities and media provocateurs, plus CNN anchor Fareed Zakaria, who we've reached out to but not yet heard back from. That's an actual
the
quote.
Far-right CNN anchor?
Well, not him. They say plus him. But they're trying to reach out to him basically to warn him, like, hey, look who you're appearing next to. Far right personalities.
Sam Harris, the far right.
Majid, the Reform Muslim.
Yeah, who might even be more left than fucking Sam. Well, he is Muslim, so. But
not even
like I've seen him. He would definitely be more willing to meet halfway with people on conversations about race than some other people that they attach to these people. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, I've dealt with racism, so of course I know it's out there and all that shit. And he's not gonna pretend like nothing exists, like some people may. But
I've heard Majid Nawaz argue with alt-right people on his show.
Oh yeah, sure. For sure.
Even I also hate when people call Dave Rubin alt-right. It's so detached from reality. Dave Rubin is a gay Jewish libertarian. He is not
for prison reform.
He is not. I think these are worthwhile things to bring up. He is not an ethno-nationalist. He's like not even close.
It's stupid. That's why the left does too many stupid things. They're just so willing to call all these people Nazis and alt-right when there's actual people who are willing to call themselves alt-right. And they're not fucking barking up their tree. They're barking up Dave Rubin's.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't get brownie points because the actual alt-righters are not going to an event like this. Richard Spencer would not be invited to an event like this. They're using it as a way to tear down people who they disagree with politically, and it's a really easy way to do so. Like, oh, well, I disagree with you, so anyone I disagree with is alt-right, and I'm just going to toss that around. I'm going to water down that term. I'm going to minimize it, and into basically until it means nothing. And we really are at that point. I mean, we passed that point a long time ago. It does mean nothing. When someone calls, when someone calls you, oh, you're alt-right, it's a punchline at this point.
Stupid. There's so many people that you could actually call alt-right and have a fucking case against, and they're like not. They're bothering with these people, like Sam Harris, alt-right.
How can you even defend such a claim?
Because he's against Islam, so that means alt-right.
Is that how it works? if you basically, your two choices are accept the alt-right or accept Islam. That's our world.
And don't talk to Charles Murray.
Oh God, yeah, that's what a crime, really. You talk to a guy.
That's probably the first spot where a bunch of people are like, "Oh, Sam Harris."
Oh my God, of course they're still complaining about that. That podcast happened last year, and they're still.
He's like the most mild-mannered person. It's so funny.
To them, he might as well
anti-Trump, so he's totally alt-right.
To them, he might as well be Mangala. Let's be real. Or Goebbels.
Goys, my favorite word.
Jesus. I'll continue. Those actually scheduled to speak at the event include Douglas Murray, who wants all immigrants out of Europe.
He's never said that ever.
They have a link. Hold on. What is this?
He's a fucking Christian apologist at this point, but
Yeah, he is, and you know,
He's not
you've talked about that.
Yeah, I have twice at least. Twice
Strange
he pissed
death.
me off so far.
Is there a quote in here? Nigel Farage. Oh, it would help if they actually just quoted him in the actual fucking article I was reading.
Yeah, we'll just tell you he wants all immigrants out.
Yeah, just throw that out there. Okay, I'm not reading this. I'm not doing your homework for you.
I have a picture of Nigel Farage. Why?
Good old Nigel.
Nigel Farage.
Nigel Farage.
Nigel Farage. That's racist.
That's his official name.
Too much like another word.
Nigel Mirage would actually be a better name.
And Sam Harris, who's just questioning about whether black people are genetically inferior to white. He's never questioned that.
Oh my God. Yeah, we need to read that. Sam Harris, who's just asking questions about what genetically inferior.
He's like,
so that's
black
what
people
Sam Harris
genetically inferior to whites?
That's
because he talked to Charles Murray, see?
Yeah, that's what they're pissed off about. See, like that conversation was just too triggering.
Wait, but the funny thing is when it comes out that the blacks are genetically superior athletically, it's no problem there. No problems there.
That's fine.
No one's questioning if blacks are genetically superior then.
If black people come out on top, they will not be.
As well as several known Islamophobes, by the way. That's the end of that sentence.
Several known Islamophobes. So basically,
you know, the person who left the religion, she's fucking scared of Islam.
She's been called an Islamophobe. Majid, who is a Muslim, is called an Islamophobe. Yeah, and they get called worse. I mean, they get called like porch, monkeys and shit like that. Yeah, I mean, like that's even more meaningless than the alt-right accusation. Like Islamophobe is like a made-up insult. Like you're an Islamophobe, okay?
If you don't like it, you're an Islamophobe.
Like, thanks, I guess. That wasn't mildly offensive, but whatever. A majority of the panelists were referenced in the New York Times opinion editor Barry Weiss's recent column about the intellectual dark web, in which Weiss, who is also set to speak at the event, described the group as iconoclastic thinkers, academic renegades, and media personalities purged from institutions that have become increasingly hostile to unorthodox thought. So yeah, that's referencing the article that originally talked about all this, and there's so much fear mongering. The intellectual dark web is not an actual group. It's more just it's kind of cringy, but
it's like saying the YouTube skeptics.
Yeah, no, it is. It's exactly like that. It's like it's basically like describing a genre of people, thinkers, speakers, academics, and a lot of them are. A lot of them do travel in the same circles. A lot of them speak at the same events, and that's fine. I don't really see an issue with it. And keep in mind, this is me saying this. I'm no fan of Dave Rubin, but I don't mind him hosting an event. That also means that he won't be doing most of the speaking, which is
he'll be doing the stand-up, which is really going to be shit.
He'll be sitting there and nodding,
killing him softly with his jokes.
Oh my God! Yeah, maybe it's best he just sit there and nod along.
Dude, I tried to watch some of that shit, and he was like, "So, how many of you guys are on the left?" Like, really? Like, that's your fucking stand-up?
Wow. That's when stand-up's like really going bad is when they desperately try to go for audience participation, like to really get people to care.
Yeah. If you were a real comic, you'd insult everyone in the audience.
How many people here are straight? How many people here are gay? Okay, any lesbians? Brilliant.
Yeah, it's a funny thing about lesbians.
Funny thing about lesbians, they're only into women. Pause for laughter. Brilliant. Anyway.
Yeah, that was horrible. Like that he opened up for Jordan Peterson. It sounds ridiculous. Like that's first of all.
The joke I just made was better than all of Dave Rubin's jokes.
Oh, such a bad.
This is so. I guess these are some tweets about this. So the intellectual dark web people are having a conference, and it's mostly the usual suspects. I was disappointed, but not surprised to see Glenn Lowry, who I like. I think they're obligated to like him because he's black.
I don't even know who he is.
He's I believe he's a Harvard professor.
A black Harvard professor. I don't buy that. All this systemic racism. There's no fucking way.
He's on the, he's on that side of the bell curve. He's on the good side. But the real surprise was
no one's genetically he's genetically inferior to no white man.
He is the Ubermensch. What's she doing here? I thought. I like this one too. From the same promoter, the Intellectual Dark Web World Tour, and it's people fear mongering about an event with Sam Harris and Peterson, Majid, Douglas Murray, Brett Weinstein, Eric Weinstein. Like
3 Jews, a gay, and an ex-Muslim. It must be. It must be the alt-right.
That's the other funny thing. Like, if you look at this list, there are very few white people, and one of the only white people is Douglas Murray, and he's gay.
And Sam Harris, like a Jew and a gay British dude.
What a threat, really. I'm scared. Oh, we're almost done. But the comments are pretty good here, too. We might look at those. So silenced are these intellectual refugees that they have no choice but to travel the globe, earning speaking fees for publicly discussing the many ways in which they've been censored. I hate that shit, too, because you can have people with big platforms who can still experience censorship. That happens. And, if they... I'm actually all for it if they have a big platform, if they are going to be the ones who talk about it. And they don't just talk about their own censorship. They talk about the censorship of, people who don't have that kind of platform. So it's just bullshit. It's a bullshit just line that gets thrown out there and amounts to nothing. And if you think Gessen did the right thing by dropping out of this day of reflection, that's just because the PC police have successfully poisoned your tiny, unintellectual brain with their liberal agenda. Did you forget to take your DNA Force Plus today, cock?
That's a new one, DNA Force Plus.
I don't know what that even is.
I don't either. You can click on it and find out.
I'm half curious. Oh, it's InfoWars shit. That's why I don't know it, because I don't even.
That's what it is.
I don't care to keep up with bullshit.
It's only $75, bro, half price.
Oh, it's on sale. Holy shit! What will it do?
We could split it.
I ain't splitting shit. Look at this.
What does DNA Force give me?
An overhaul for your cellular engines.
Your cellular engine.
What the fuck is this?
Jesus Christ.
Brain Force.
Dude, have any of those people ever been on InfoWars?
Dave Rubin.
Okay, but, besides Dave Rubin, I guess
he'll go anywhere. So yeah, none of the others.
Sam Harris hasn't been. Douglas Murray, I don't think has been. Majid, I don't think so.
No, those other people are way too. Their standards are a lot higher than Dave Rubin's. This is like their attempt at comedy, and it's really bad. Well, even worse than Dave Rubin's, honestly.
Yeah, I saw something today that reminds me of this. Like, Dusty said something on in a tweet to Mysticism Milwaukee that like, oh, I thought you had no more room for speakers, and you invited someone new, and they're like, oh, whatever they said to him is an excuse. He's like, yeah, they know they won't let me on because I'll, destroy their whole platform with a point presentation and all this shit. I'm like, but the guy they invited on is fucking that jackass What's his name?
Michael Rowlands.
Yes, Michael Rowlands. So, like, what is he saying? Like, oh, they're inviting this guy who won't do it? Like, it's sort of weird because he would try and do the same thing, though.
Yeah, no. I mean, he'll go there and he'll be antagonistic and confrontational with a lot of people, I'm sure. Yeah. But that should be interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I guess I'll just finish this. We've reached out to Pangburn Philosophy as well as several other panelists to better understand how the mishap happened and to see if they'll comp us free tickets to the $500 one-day event.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That is. They're trying to throw some more shade. But you are getting a pretty big bang for your buck if you'd be able to see all these people live.
But when Peterson and fucking Harris are on stage, they're going to be arguing with each other most of the time. That's what's so funny. They're like, oh, these alt-righters. And meanwhile...
That's acting from the alt-right. They secretly agree, but we're trying to throw off the liberals to, really confuse them, make them think that, there's a diversity of ideas here. But secretly, everyone here is obviously a neo-Nazi. So yeah,
Harris, the neo-Nazi. It's too funny.
and then just insert the clip of him saying black people are apes. Black people are apes. So
why did he? Where is that from anyway?
It's from a podcast. I think he was. I don't remember the exact point he was making. It's not just something he said for no reason.
Sure it's not. He's probably like, it's not like a go around saying this or something.
It would be funny if I was in a conversation with Sam Harris and he just randomly said black people are apes. And Sam, do you care to give some context for that?
Charles Murray told me.
So the comment section is obviously garbage as always. I actually saw one. I want to find the one.
It's funny. You actually have to like make an account to fucking type these comments on these sites.
Yeah, I
could never be bothered to do such a thing.
Gothamus. Oh, you can log in with Facebook or Twitter.
Oh,
look at that.
Easy. Just click.
It's easier. Yeah, that's still not worth it. That's like 2 clicks of my mouse too many.
And typing. A lot of words to say a lot of nothing.
There was this is the one. This is a long one, but this was funny to me. It's weird what happened with Sam Harris. He was one of the 4 horsemen atheists, and I really appreciated his work at first. He's really articulate and made some interesting points about free will that I totally endorse. And for a while, his poking at Islam seemed par for the atheist course. But a couple of years ago, Harris began to become obsessed with political correctness. And unlike his discussion of earlier subjects, I've never once heard him be all that articulate as to why exactly he thinks PC is such a unique and looming threat.
I don't think he's touched on that much at all.
I don't think he's really characterized it as a looming threat either. From what I've got, he describes it as more a personal nuisance more than anything. Because a lot of what he talks about in terms of PC culture is his own experience with, the undesirables, Jank, Reza, CJ Werleman, Chris Hedges, whoever. It's a very bizarre situation when a man is capable of explaining himself as Sam Harris can focus on a threat without ever articulating how it's a threat. He seems to have taken the fact that public figures such as himself are always at risk of bad PR affecting their earning potential and turned it into a pandemic of overreaction, censorship, and campus fascism. This seems to be the only thing he wants to talk about now.
Really? I don't recall that at all.
That's a very strange
like totally
reading.
Dave Rubin, but
that's kind of like that would be. This is someone's perception of Sam Harris if you only listen to Sam Harris through Tom Bloke snippets. Like that's your worldview at that point. And which got Trump elected. He also seems to have taken on the tiresome, oh, poor me, I'm so oppressed, I had no choice but to join these other beleaguered truth tellers in this club of coincidentally right-wing assholes attitude. of the alt-right. So that's basically trying to compare Sam Harris to the alt-right, which is silly. It gets better.
Wait, so you mean he's talking about people who he's pissed off at don't have his back on fucking topics they should because he's correct? Like, I don't get it. It's so stupid. Like, he's oppressed now because of that. Because he's like, you know, the left aren't talking shit about this, which they should be. That means he's trying to play the victim. Like, okay.
I've never gotten the impression that Sam Harris believes he's oppressed. I mean, they have to invent a straw man to even speak.
I feel really, like this guy's talking about Rubin.
Yeah, Rubin would make more sense, but even with Rubin, I mean, he's not alt-right.
No, but he'll definitely play the PC.
Sure, he
shit.
It's way his shtick. It's his shtick to talk about that a lot more. But even though he overhypes it, I don't think it takes away from it being a massive social issue, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because it is. I mean, it's not just a couple blue hairs on a campus. Like, no, the ideas that have been criticized are ideas held by people at some of the most popular media outlets. And people in Hollywood, and I mean, like,
I don't even know if they believe it. I feel like they're just willing to go with it because it's not what the other side does.
I mean, is it any better than?
No. I'm saying that, like, I'm just saying, like, I don't think, like, some of them I don't even feel like think all this shit, but I feel like they just go along with it. I'm not saying that's better, but like,
yeah, because they obviously at that point they still contribute.
Do you think CNN really gives a fuck about the wage gap? Like,
no,
but they'll just push it just for whatever. Like,
yeah, they're paying lip service because it feels like the right thing to say. Even though if you were to run a poll of people, I think most people would at this point not want to hear about the wage gap, especially when you consider that, you know, a small percentage of women are feminists.
Isn't it annoying when someone you subscribe to on YouTube, like, you see a video pop up, a new video, like, about the wage gap, you're like, oh god, really?
That's right down there with debating creationism at this point.
Gamergate or something. Someone made a video about Gamergate.
Jesus Christ,
yeah.
Lame. I mean, I'm perfectly happy to accept the premise that the left in this country has become infested with litmus purity tests and intolerant scolds who think using the wrong term to describe Native Americans, First Nations, something even newer I haven't heard yet, is worthy of excommunication and a much bigger issue than actual economic injustice or instability. But that still doesn't excuse the overreaction of people like Harris into joining up with the Dinesh D'Souza types.
Joining up?
Look at this. This is pure insanity.
He's like, I could admit all this, but I don't know. That's just the weirdest fucking paragraph ever.
Find me one time Sam Harris had a nice thing to say about Dinesh D'Souza. A criminal. A fraud.
I've heard his name. I don't even know what his deal is.
He's a propaganda filmmaker. He made films about Obama and Hillary. There's no connection. There's no association. And this was a very revealing look inside the mind of a anti-Sam Harris social justice lunatic.
Icon, no face. Fake name.
Yeah, tell us your name. Show your face, bitch.
Dox yourself.
Yeah, you're not even worth doxing.
Oh, go back up. I saw something I'm not gonna like.
Oh.
Here we go. Wait, no, a little further down. A lot of new atheists have gone down this road, which is disheartening, but not unpredictable.
Gone down the road of the alt-right.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what new atheists have done. That's why we call them porch atheists.
I like this. The road of combating censorship and fake narrative orthodoxy, just like Galileo did. Well, that is because the new atheists are smart people and not dumbass, unhinged, totalitarian leftists. Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of the funny thing is they have it in mind that the atheists were going to stop at criticizing religion and weren't going to criticize their dogmatic, stupid ideas. Like they somehow were going to be exempt and safe from that
because they were atheists, I guess.
I mean, this is kind of the dangerous gamble you run because these people are such douchebags that if you question their ideas and their beliefs, they will label you the worst thing possible, which in our society today is alt-right. Or I guess they could call you an incel, whatever.
No one would ever do this shit in real life. Like they do it at these rallies, I guess. Because I guess they're all, everyone's got their groups there and they're amped up and you got a bunch of heads behind you to back you up.
If you're Antifa, you can cover your face.
Yeah, but if I was like walking down the street and some motherfucker recognized me and like didn't like me from YouTube or something, they wouldn't be like, "You're a fucking racist, Billy." They would never. Like they would never do it. I don't buy that they would ever fucking do it.
Yeah, no. This is very much a product of internet culture, but unfortunately, the internet is a very fast way to communicate ideas, and these labels can just be thrown out at such abandon with zero thought put into them. And then they can hide. This is also a really cunty thing. They can hide behind, oh, I wasn't directly accusing you of being an alt-righter. I was accusing you of acting like the alt-right. Of course, they can't back this up either, and there's no evidence for that. But it's when people hear that, it pretty much means the same thing. If you say this person is an alt-righter and you say they act like an alt-righter, or they associate with alt-righters, or they associate with people who are like alt-righters, to the social justice warrior listening to that, all they hear is this person is on the alt-right. That's it. They're not going to be able to they're not going to see any distinction meaningful enough to make that's just how it goes.
I don't know how people get so crazy. Like, I just don't get it sometimes. Like how people could be so. I guess that's my centrism. I'm a terrible horrible centrist.
Centrists are the worst I've heard.
Yes, we are.
According to Stalinists.
Centrists get the bullet too.
If I saw Billy IRL, I would want to smoke with him.
Cool, man. Bring some shit and smoke me up.
That's Billy's criteria for hanging out with him. You have to bring the 420.
Yeah. It depends what day you catch me on. If I got a good stash, you could join. It's at the end of if it's at the end of the cycle,
you could join the circle.
You're gonna have to bring something. But yeah, I don't think half these people would say this shit to your face if they're not in a group. That's for sure. But that's crazy. I've dealt with crazy shit in person. Like, here's a crazy story from a couple of years ago. I was on the train, and this old man gets on. He's like, I don't know, he was Indian or Arab. I couldn't fucking tell, but he was like 70 years old or some shit. Because I asked him afterwards. He asked this girl if he could sit down. And she was like fucking 20 something, And because he's like, he can't barely fucking walk. And she lets him sit. And there's like this black guy across the way. he was in decent shape, but you could tell he was like 60, but he was in real good shape and shit. And he was standing, he's like, "Oh, that's not right, man. You don't ask a woman to get up." And I'm like, I'm in shock because it's like a fucking 70-year-old man, right? So I like the guy's talking shit to the guy for some reason. So I fucking, for some reason, I get involved, right? I'm like, dude, he's fucking 70 years old. She's fucking 20 years old. She could stand for a little bit. The guy can't fucking barely walk. Like his knees are all fucked up. And then this black couple sitting next to the dude interjects and somehow says something about racism. Like, I'm like,
Oh dear.
like, you don't know what the fuck this is like, yo. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I'm talking about an old man sitting down instead of a fucking 20-year-old woman, and you're talking about fucking racism? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, so these people can bring this shit up out of nowhere too. Like, it's so fun. But they weren't like SJWs. They were just some like fucking 40-year-old black couple. But I guess because, you know, I came at them and had an argument with them, I was racist.
You were confrontational with a black person. That's
like, I got off the same stop as the guy actually, and I was like, "How old are you?" He's like, "I'm 72." I'm like, "What the?" Or some shit like that. I'm like, "The fuck is wrong with these people?" Like I couldn't believe it, like that. Like, and then like I think that was around the time like all these people were making feminist videos, and I'm like, people really think like women aren't treated well? Like these people are white knighting a 20-year-old woman who was in fucking perfect shape just because that old man asked if he could take the seat. And like he pointed to the sign that said, "Give your seat to the elderly or handicap." Like he was like, "Oh, can I sit?" And he pointed to the sign, you know.
And she agreed to that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
she had no problems. She had no fucking problem with it. That's what blew my mind the most, that these fucking people across the way had to fucking open their mouth about it. It's just in shock. And then it became a black-white issue somehow.
Of course.
Just because I guess I argued with a black person. It was fucking random. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these people would say it to your face.
It depends on the person, honestly. But they certainly feel more emboldened, you know, whether it's online or IRL. It's with a crowd, like, because it was only in that story. It was only once other people started joining in that, like, oh, okay, now we feel emboldened to make this really crazy accusation against you.
Yeah, and then add on the fact, the anonymity they have, their fake name and avatar, and that gives you a lot of courage too.
Yeah, no, they have a real, those kinds of people, like, especially, I'll just say like the Tom Blokes of the world, the Tom Bloke community, whatever, the Blokers, whatever you want to call them. They need a name.
Bloggers. Now we have Blokers.
Blokers. We have
Blunty Kings.
Blunty King sucks dick. They have no sense of scale. They have no sense of priorities. They're actual, you know, people worth responding to, and they spend their time bitching about Sam Harris. And even, you know, I'm no fan of Peterson, and I think that should be immediately clear. Even when they go after Peterson, it's just lackluster and lame and focusing on all the wrong things. It's just dumb. I feel like a lot of people, because of course they're bitching about Sam Harris doing these events with Jordan Peterson. There is a real concerted effort to artificially sweep Jordan Peterson under the rug, despite the fact that he is an incredibly popular person. Mm-hmm. I don't like Jordan Peterson, but at the same time, I understand that you have to acknowledge that he exists and you have to engage with him. You're not just going to be able to deplatform him, because if you do, you're going to piss off a lot of people.
Well, that's the thing. You actually don't have to engage with him, but you don't have to deplatform.
Well, there are people who
you don't have to acknowledge him at all. You can ignore every fucking thing he does. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, he has a bunch of followers, but like, you don't have to deplatform the person. You could just actually do what a person who doesn't like someone does. Don't pay attention to them. Like, I never go looking to hang out with people I fucking hate. I'm not paying attention to what they're doing. Like, you know, I don't have their Facebook. I hate this dude. Let me check his Facebook every day. No, I don't fucking do it. That's why I don't follow people on Twitter that I hate that much. Like a random one or two. Because like if I don't like you, I don't care about you. No, I don't follow Cernovich. That randomly popped up in my timeline. Like
that's a real treat right there.
That's the thing. Like I don't follow like all these people follow people they hate. I don't understand it. Like
masochists.
They must be like it's I don't like I got to come into contact with this shit enough without following these people. I don't know how these people deal with those timelines.
Here's a good example. So Sam Harris, he just went on Ruben's show again. I haven't watched the whole thing.
Like half of it.
It was okay so far. There were some interesting bits, but people are obviously bitching about that. I want to make it clear, and I think it's good that you're here too, because we've both been very critical of Dave Rubin.
Before you say this, I think it has a good way of keeping the interview where he wants it to be, like because he could have got a lot more pushback from Sam Harris if he really wanted to.
Yeah, no, he kept it mellow because he's not a very confrontational person.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be able to fucking like Sam Harris would destroy him. Like,
oh, that would have been funny. But even then, like I don't mind when people I like go on Ruben's show. Like I actually enjoyed listening to David Frum on the show, who I like, and Sam a couple times, and David Smalley, a couple other people on the show have been okay. Not all of them have been. Most of them have been trash. Don't get me wrong, but there have been a handful of gems, and I've never viewed it as like a strike against someone that they went on a popular show and express their ideas to someone who they might disagree with. And, you know, actually it can be beneficial to Dave Rubin's audience. It's a service to them that they get out of their echo chamber and get exposed to some different ideas. I
feel like Rubin wanted to actually talk to people from the other side. Now I just feel like he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah,
so you'll see it. That's why you don't see it that much.
Like, there's no money in that, really.
I guess so. Yeah, right. Even though that's what everyone claimed they wanted these conversations to happen. Like I never cared about that. Like I don't want to have conversations with these people like that I fucking can't stand. Like why would I want to have a conversation with like Christy Winters or something? That's crazy. Never in my life. Totally there's no need. Like, do I want to change her mind? Like, not really. I don't want you anywhere near me. I want you to fucking go away somewhere far.
It's funny you mention her because Coach Red Pill. I know you're a big fan.
I actually liked Coach Red Pill for a bit, but then he's just stupid sometimes. So I'm just like, whatever. Like I don't have any problems with the guy himself. His content is fucking out there.
Yeah, I've liked some videos.
I don't hate the guy because he's a fucking weirdo, but like I could probably get along with him, have a decent conversation with him, and all that.
He has some level of charisma. But I bring him up because he recently did an interview with Christy Winters, funnily enough, and something that really brought them together was a hatred of Sargon. It was so funny. It was great, honestly.
That's what brought them together, really?
I feel like that was honestly what set the stage for that conversation.
The funny thing about that is, like, that's what initially drew me to him, was that he hated Kraut. And I was like, oh, this guy gets it. Like, this guy gets how Kraut is a fucking moron.
Oh, dear.
And, like, he brought up the fake accent shit, which I definitely said from the beginning, this motherfucker's talking fake. And like, so like he went hard at Kraut like when he first started his channel, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Someone finally who doesn't like Kraut that isn't me or a couple of other people I know.
No wonder you couldn't dog on him too much.
Yeah, but then after once he started putting some stupid shit out, I fuck with him here and there. I fucked with him that one video. You did one also, though.
Yes, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, no, that happens. It's kind of an interesting psychological thing, I guess, would be, what can motivate people to make strange bedfellows? Like, what issue, like, what's it going to take for you to put everything aside and unite with this person?
Sargon.
Sargon. Yeah, exactly.
That's fucking great. Sargon's the thing that brought us together. She calls us all Nazis and all that, but fuck that. She hates Sargon.
Yeah, no, they can put up with that for a while. And Christy Winters even Christy Winters seemed to not mind either. It was funny because before that interview happened, she left a comment on an alt-right video bashing Sargon, and the progressive community actually kind of freaked out and split in two over that.
How so?
On Twitter. Basically, there were some who were defending Christy and were her fans, and then there were other people who are, I guess, more anti-alt-right and viewed that as a betrayal.
Oh, because they think Coach Red Pill is alt-right.
Yeah, and I think she left a comment on a JF video against Sargon, and it was like a positive comment, so they freaked out. I mean, like, this is the kind of
the fucking thing. Like, Andy Worski had them on, so yeah, he was alt-right. So if you're talking to him, did Steve shun her?
I didn't see him chime in, honestly.
That's something I gotta know.
He would never.
No, I don't know. Why not?
I mean, it
would make him more virtuous than ever.
It would be possible, I suppose. I wonder what does the chat think? What do you think would be the breaking point? When would Steve Shives finally turn on Christy Winters?
We got to give him some options, I guess. Was that good enough? That what she did? Leave a positive comment on a JF.
This is the kind of like Twitter drama that I just don't have the time of day for at all. Like, if somebody came to me, I know that, like, okay,
but I do have the time to talk shit about it on a stream and make fun of it, for sure. That's for sure.
Okay, if somebody, let me put it this way: if someone was confronting me over that, I would not have the time of day. I would not react positively. I know, because I dealt with a sort of similar experience. Basically, it was maybe like a month or two ago at this point. I retweeted Styx Hexenhammer 666. It was a post on St. Patrick's Day, I believe, and he was basically just shitting on the Catholic Church, and I thought it was a good tweet, so I retweeted it.
Yeah, and why not retweet these people that you wouldn't expect it from at this point in time?
Yeah, he made a good point. I agreed with it, and then I kind of made a joke like, "LOL, I just retweeted Styx." And I remember I got this progressive mob on my ass, like, "Oh my god, you retweeted Styx!" Like, yeah, what? I'm sorry. And then they were, of course they bring up all this shit like, "Oh, well, he loves war. He was defending mouthy Buddha." Like, they just keep this list of things that these sins you've committed against them, and it's just so taxing and draining.
I want to have a one-on-one with Mouthy, because I don't know. He's
an interesting guy.
In a way, I don't want to say the wrong thing and make him feel like I'm saying the wrong thing, like I'm saying something bad about him. But I just think he's a confused individual.
Yeah, no, I'm dude.
Like one of the later videos he just made with the Sam Harris and Peterson thing.
Terrible video.
No, but it's just like he doesn't really. I don't know. He's a little lost, I think. I don't know why. It just happens to some people.
He's fallen into the Peterson cult. It happens to a lot of people.
Well, like he said, he's like, oh, once I wasn't, then I became an atheist, and then this. Like he doesn't know where he's going. Like it's like my atheism was never something that like defined me as a person completely. Like I don't like
No.
that's like I don't know. Like that's where he's lost in it all. I think.
Yeah, he's even questioning that. He's questioning
Questions too much. He questions too many things. He's lost.
he questions too many things and doesn't question meaningful things. Like he questions the premise of atheism, and he wonders if there's some supernatural force behind the universe, but there's not a whole lot of skepticism or evaluation of what Peterson's saying. It's a lot of just blind acceptance, of course,
I mean, I feel
because
like
it sounds nice.
he's not what people portray him as, but that's because I think he is a little confused about just life in general. You know, I don't know. Like he gets too into the philosophical shit. Like life is not that fucking deep. Like I know we want it to be sometimes, but I don't know, man.
I saw a good.
I've been on a hangout with him before, but he had all his fucking patrons on there, and it was like, it's too fucking distracting.
Yeah, that's when I went on with him too. I'm due to do a one-on-one with him at some point here in the future. We've kind of just talked about it. We never set a date. But even the stream we did with the patrons, I posted a clip from it. I don't know if you saw that, but it was an interesting conversation.
You silenced them, by the way.
Oh yeah, I made sure that the rest of those goobers shut the fuck up.
That little, it wasn't a rant, but that little speech sort of thing you did, man. They were all like quiet after that. They didn't know what the fuck to say.
Yeah, pretty much as soon as I like gave my mic drop, they stopped defending religion because they would just look like morons. I have here's a comment. So this is going to be the breaking point for Shives and Christy. If Christy Winters fucked Deke, that is like unforgivable.
How dare you fuck Deke? That would be the turning point. I can't believe you fucked that racist scumbag.
This person in my life. Let's call him Deke.
I knew a guy named Deke. That's what's hysterical.
When I'm telling stories and I need to like make up names for people, the first name that comes to mind is Deke. It's like that's like a popular name, right? Come on.
No, but I honestly did know someone in my life, and his name was Deke. It's too like when he said that, I was like dying because like, Devin was ripping that video and was like, who the fuck is named Deke? And I'm like, I actually know a Deke. It was his last name, but everyone called him Deke anyway. So that's what's so funny. But he was like some older guy. I was a kid at the time. Like he was like a neighbor or whatever.
If it's your last name, you can't even escape it, and neither can the rest of your family.
Your family is Deke.
Your family is just cursed with this terrible last name for all time.
But yeah, fuck Christy Winters and these fucking people. But it is a purity test. That's why they fucking. And you're obviously your thing that would make you bedfellows with someone is Christianity, I guess.
You mean like
that's why you get into bed with Styx by retweeting him.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about Styx, but he's not all that pro-religious. I mean, he might make an apologetic here or there, but he got started on YouTube making atheist content, so that definitely continues to shine through to some small degree. I thought it was a good tweet.
Take care of his delousing.
his I'll forgive a lot of what he does as long as he puts on a shirt. That's
God damn, it's never gonna happen though.
Just put on a fucking
That's why
shirt.
I've never watched any of that guy's videos, because it's just like, what is this guy? Leather jacket and no shirt. No.
the most badass.
You get away with one or the other, but both, I'm sorry. You got your choice. No shirt or the fucking MC jacket, but both together, I'm sorry. I'm not having it.
Christ. it's just I don't even know the thought process that goes into, okay, I'm going to be on camera. Does my hair look okay? Okay, let me take off my shirt and put on my jacket
In my
over my
house.
bare skin.
In my fucking house.
in my bedroom with the libertarian flag or whatever he has.
Oh man, I can't do it. Whoever, like, there's people that watch you that I know are pretty popular on YouTube, so they're watching this right now.
Oh, who watch me?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen people comment on your videos that are decent sized YouTubers.
Oh, like who? I probably know who you're talking about.
I don't know, like fucking like who, like Logic, fucking No Plum, people like that.
Oh yeah,
Some
sure.
other, that guy T, some random, people on the other side.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Bring them on tonight. Like,
I hope they can respect that. I would hope they could rip me too in a, in a banty way.
yeah, but that's why I said, some people will come to hate me after the end of the stream, I'm sure. Whoever might be listening, if they don't already.
It's always funny to see big people hanging around when you wouldn't expect them to. Like, I remember, I don't know if she still does, but for a while, Shuan Head was watching my videos. It was kind of like, it was really weird. It was like, whoa.
Well, it's because you were going after her hobby now.
Yeah, but she was commenting on videos that had like nothing to do with that, which was crazy. I don't know why, but it's always, I guess it's, I don't want to gush over it or anything, but it's promising because it's like, hey, maybe I'm doing something right if this person who's really successful on this platform is, coming over here for entertainment, to take notes, to just see how other people are doing it.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got too much of
that. Yeah, Billy, no one likes you.
It's all good. Nah, Baron's commented on my videos. It's all good. But yeah, I haven't even checked. Like, how you could check and see like the most subscribers, who are like whoever has the most subscribers that subscribe to your channel. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I haven't checked that shit in like 8 months, I don't think. I remember I used to check it every now and then, like, oh, I wonder if anyone who's known is watching me.
If people hide their subscriptions, though, I'm pretty sure they don't pop up there.
No, but I could view my own. Oh yeah, if they had, yeah, that's true.
So
yeah,
because I'll see people around and I'm like, I know that you have to be subscribed, because I sincerely doubt that you just like looked me up out of the blue.
They just randomly look up your videos, type in your name every time they want to see
it. That's just like a pain in the ass. Why would you do that? Reese is a hidden pleasure. That is dirty.
What's going on in the chat anyway? I haven't
people are. I heard that H3 watches Nightmare Fuel. That is bullshit. There is no way.
PewDiePie watches you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I heard Deke watches Reese's videos. Good old Deke. He's just like in a shack somewhere in Maryland.
It'd be so. I want Deke to come out. That'd be so funny. If like, yo, I'm Deke.
The actual Deke.
Like, he found out about Steve's video making, and it's like, the fuck, this motherfucker talked about me in the video.
And worse, he named me Deke. It like turns out his name is Kevin or something.
That's true. He was like, let's just call him
Deke.
Deke. Where did he come up with that? So does anyone in the chat have any questions for Reese? Give us.
I like how the questions are just for me.
Well, if I said for me, I'd sound like a fucking stuck-up asshole.
Does anyone have questions for me?
I gotta ask for you.
Peasants, I will answer your questions now.
But only answer questions if you super chat.
Yeah, you gotta super chat.
We won't even acknowledge you if you don't super chat.
Devin was watching earlier. Was he? I doubt it. I didn't see him.
Aren't we enemies? Who?
Does Reese live in a society? It looks like one.
Society now.
A very fallen society.
West is fallen.
I live in the book of Eli of societies.
You guys see Ruben basically denounce atheism and say he's a cultural Jew on Shapiro's show? No, send me that clip, please.
Yeah, send the clip and timestamp it, and we'll take
I'm a cultural Jew, guys. You know, Manischewitz.
I'm a cultural Jew. Like, you can be a cultural Jew and an atheist. Like, that's Ruben doesn't know shit.
Do you think
My God,
Islamic Horde is getting worse or better? Where? Am I excited about the sequel, Shining prequel? I didn't even know there was one.
Wait,
not really, because Stephen King probably didn't write it, so who gives a fuck?
Yeah, The Shining does not need sequels or prequels.
Is Jimi Hendrix a Republican?
I talked about that recently.
He's alt-right.
Oh yeah, he's like the founder.
Come on, he played the national anthem, bro. He's totally a fucking alt-right.
The racist song.
I racist song, exactly, bro. That shit was written back when they were slaves. It's totally a racist song.
I talked about this on Twitter recently because there's a new Halloween movie coming out later this year. I put up a poll whether people would prefer sequels or reboots.
I'd rather neither, I think.
Well, if gun to your head, because Hollywood's going to continue to milk them.
God.
Gun to your head for horror.
I don't know.
Movies.
They're so bad because sequels is just like, oh, we denounce every other fucking movie as canon, and now we start here.
Yeah, I mean, as far from what I've heard for the new Halloween movie, it's a direct continuation of the first one, but it pretty much disregards all the other sequels.
It probably has 2 included because it's the same day.
Yeah, I think it might have 2 included. It doesn't include 3, obviously, because that's not even related. And the rest of them,
I found out like a year ago. I didn't even know this. That the reason that is because it wasn't supposed to be like there was never supposed to be a sequel, and it was just supposed to be like their own individual stories.
Oh, was it going to be originally like one longer movie?
No, like I forget what they call it when like American Horror Story, every season is different.
Yeah, that was the original premise of the Halloween series.
And then it was so fucking popular, he made the second one or something like.
Yeah, Michael Myers just took off.
But he never intended it to be like a Michael Myers full story like throughout. It was supposed to be its own individual stories. So that's why the third one is nothing like the other 2. But then after that, they scrapped it all, I guess, and just went back to Michael Myers.
Yeah, honestly, they should have done that because Halloween 3, it's love it or hate it, it's an interesting movie.
These don't interest me. Like, we already had reboots of Halloween, didn't we? Like,
yeah,
honestly, this isn't a reboot. Yeah, okay.
No, this is a sequel. In my mind, though, the reboot.
In my head, I guess the reboot. Ugh, I hate it though. I hate reboots more than anything.
Even if you hate it, I can make a legit case that Rob Zombie's movie was better than a lot of the sequels. It didn't have like Kung Fu Busta Rhymes fighting Michael Myers. So that's like that's already a step up.
I don't know, man, because I haven't really liked any fucking Rob Zombie movie yet. I haven't liked one.
He's an acquired taste.
But I thought I would like him, but like I saw, what's it called? House of a Thousand Corpses. It's fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what it is. It's the same fucking movie. It was nothing new. I was just like, okay, this is like some fake Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
I wasn't impressed at all. Like,
not the most original filmmaker of all time.
So I don't know, like, but people love those movies. I'm missing something. I don't know why. Devil's
Yeah.
Rejects. I didn't like that either. Like, I just didn't. It didn't work for me for some reason.
Yeah. I knew that when I posed that question and did that poll on Twitter, a lot of people were going to be like, ugh, neither. But that's unfortunately that is the direction. There are original horror movies coming out, don't get me wrong, but when they're going to bring back a lot of these old profitable franchises at some point.
They do it too much. Like yeah, we already had Halloween, and now we got new Halloween again. It's different, obviously, but
this
she's
does
so
seem
old. What's the point?
Yeah, I would say because they've already done the reboot. It's I guess it's better that this is a sequel.
Is it John Carpenter?
I think so. Hold on,
Like,
maybe
if he's not involved.
I only saw that Jamie Lee Curtis was Halloween 2018. No, it's not. It's directed by David Gordon Green. I don't know who this is. What have you directed? Okay. Oh, lovely. A whole lot of things I've never heard of. Pineapple Express. He directed Pineapple Express.
Are we expecting comedic value in this?
Yeah, this will be a comedy. I'm sure he's a perfectly competent director, but I'm just making.
I don't know.
He's not exactly like he's not John Carpenter.
My problem is I haven't been big on movies the last 5-6 years. I've been more into TV shows that are good than movies.
Yeah,
because everything's been reboots and fucking comic book movies.
TV's been a lot more interesting than movies, honestly.
Here's a decent question. Hey guys, thoughts on Tree of Logic?
I don't know her that well, but I from what I've seen, I've liked. She certainly has an interesting background.
She is. I like Tree a lot, actually. I get along with her. We banter back and forth when she has live streams, in the chat and shit. But I definitely don't agree with her on everything. She is a conservative. But
yeah,
she's willing to call out her own side. I've seen her do it. She went at the alt-right, which was fucking funny. And yeah, she's all right in my book, I guess. I've actually, I was supposed to do live stream with her a couple of times, but then my fucking Twitter went down. I had no way to get in touch with her, and it's just, we haven't set it up at all. Yeah,
it's impossible to keep, keep up with everyone.
Yeah, really. With my channel down, then it has to be on her channel. I gotta ask her. I don't want to fucking put someone on the spot. Oh, we have to do it on your channel because mine's fucking down.
Yeah, because of bullshit strikes.
Yeah, which I don't think I'll be getting the streaming back. I really fucking hope so.
It's still a ridiculous 3-month thing.
I don't think I'm getting it back. I really don't, especially from what I saw before. I went on there and it was just something else said, not available, the embedded streaming, ineligible. And that was not like that before. That just changed recently without warning. So I'm worried about that, but I haven't streamed in 7 months on my channel because I've had strikes for fucking 7 months.
Press F to pay respects for Billy's channel. Yep. Press F.
It's a dying thing. To pay respects while it's still alive.
Vultures are circling.
They are circling.
Thoughts on the movie Hereditary? They're calling this generation's The Exorcist. I am actually hoping to see it soon, so no spoilers.
Have you? Here's a question. Have you not been able to suspend your disbelief at all in movies because of being an atheist?
It's never really. No, I've been fine, really.
Well, for me, I used to I would definitely watch movies that had supernatural shit, but now I just don't give a fuck. I can't. Like for some reason, it's just like I find no interest in it because I find it totally unbelievable. Like it's very weird.
Yeah, I mean, The Exorcist is a good example because it's
Exactly.
very
Because now I'd be like, what? I don't believe in the devil. This shit couldn't happen. Like,
it's very reliant on Catholic mythology and for some people, I guess if you're a Catholic, it might be scarier. It's still a well-made movie.
well, I
It's
could see
just
why. Like, even when I saw it as a kid, because like I could see it being more scarier, just because like, oh, if you believe in God, then even if you didn't really believe in the devil, there's a possibility. Like, obviously, so like it could be more scary. But now it's just like, like this could never happen anyway. So it's I don't know why it's affected me that way. But like someone in the chat said, well, superhero movies you got to do that for too, obviously.
yeah. If
Yeah.
pretty much
I don't
any
watch
movie.
those either, I guess. So that's
I'll say that I do want to see Hereditary, but it kind of looks like it just kind of looks like another ghost story, kind of like supernatural possession. Like, and it's, I'm really hoping it wows me, but I've seen way too many movies like that. And it's sad that when you're watching modern horror movies, it's either the ghost story or it's a shitty slasher remake. Like there's very
weird.
little beyond that.
Like the slashers are my favorite ones, like the 70s, 80s slasher movies.
Oh sure, they're really fun.
But any new slasher movie isn't really that good.
Yeah, they've been really hit and miss. I liked well, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake was fucking awful.
I
Like,
didn't even bother. I definitely didn't bother.
Contender for like one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
What about Jason X?
The latest they made kind of like, it wasn't really a reboot, but they did make like a 21st century Friday the 13th. I thought that was actually okay.
I heard about that one.
It was totally inoffensive.
It wasn't that bad, really.
Yeah, no, it was what it was. It was just another Jason movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't watched many movies in the last fucking 5 years, unfortunately. Like, I think the last movie I saw was the first Star Wars that they just put out. What was not the last one, the one before it.
Oh, The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I actually saw that, but I think that was the last movie I watched.
And weren't you so amazed?
So I didn't even see the second one, the Last Jedi. I didn't see that one yet.
Yeah, you're not missing out on
it. It was all right. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was all right. I don't know.
It's just it's depressing because, like, it's just like it's another sign that they have nothing new. It's like, oh, let's make another Star Wars.
That's my main problem, I think, with it all, is that every fucking movie is a remake. No original ideas whatsoever. What has been really that good that's been original? Like, even like 10, 15 years ago, we had like No Country for Old Men and shit like that coming out. Those were decent. Like, at least it was decent. But now there's like nothing like this. It's just like Ocean's 25.
Yeah, I did see Ocean's 8. People are giving me shit for seeing Ocean's 8. I was dragged along to it with some friends, and it was okay, but I bitched about it on Twitter because I thought it was like sloppy seconds brand feminism is what it is. It's the laziest feminism. It's basically, hey girls, let's give you this recycled franchise, and that's empowering somehow.
Yeah, I don't even that's not even my complaint. That's not even what my complaint would be about it. I can't really complain about it because I haven't seen it, but like, how many Oceans movies are there?
there were 3
So
with
now this is
George
4.
Clooney, and it's already. I mean, it's to me, it's the worst of both worlds, because the Ocean's movies with George Clooney were already a remake of movie. It was a Frank Sinatra movie back in the day. Yeah, so it's like a remake of a remake, pretty much.
Yeah, and they put out like 10 of them.
It's just
like any movie that they just keep coming out with more and more of like what was it? What was the other the car movies? They're up like 20. They're up to like 8 or 9. What's the Fast and the Furious? How many of those do they have?
They've
At
made
least 6.
I think 8.
That's crazy, bro.
It might be 9 though.
Get the fuck that's what I've been missing these years? No.
A whole lot of nothing.
Definitely haven't missed that. Fuck that.
Somebody I know I just missed the question. Somebody said Reese Razor. They know that Hellraiser is my favorite horror movie. Yeah, I've talked about that. If they remade Hellraiser, I would be pissed the fuck off. That would be unacceptable.
Who would play?
Oh, they'd get some schmuck. They'd get like fucking Jared Leto to play.
Jared Leto.
It'd be fucking awful. and honestly,
don't actors get old after like 6, 7 movies? It's like done for me, I think. I don't care to see Robert De Niro in a movie ever again in my fucking life. I just don't care.
It's hard to even see them as characters.
Exactly. Like it gets too much after a while. But they never end with these people. They'll keep them there forever.
It's actually, Hollywood's just a really intricate prison. They're just forcing these people to go out.
Can't escape. Oh, new movie coming out. Let's put Robert De Niro in it. What? Oh, come on.
I say that about Hellraiser. Keep in mind, there's only 2 good Hellraiser movies, and there's even been a shitty movie that didn't have Doug Bradley in it, which was terrible. No one else. That to me is like proof positive that remaking. They made like the last Hellraiser movie does not have the original actor. Because it was so shitty that even he, who had previously starred in 5 other shitty movies, said, no, this crosses a line. This is way too shitty, even for me.
Hellraiser's what's his face? No,
Pinhead.
No, but what's the guy who
Doug Bradley? Oh, Clive Barker.
Yeah, it's a Clive Barker. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, he did the first and I believe the second one in terms of like the story, but I mean, then they just made a bunch of shitty sequels. They sent Pinhead to space, for fuck's sake.
They sent Jason to space, bro.
Every time they go to space, it's garbage.
Jason X, no? Wasn't that the plot of that one? He was in space.
Oh my god.
But that's the thing. They missed some remakes. What about like Critters? Why haven't they remade Critters?
Yeah, it would honestly do them better to remake some of the lesser known ones that people won't bitch about as much.
They should. Perfect one to remake, especially in these days and times. Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. No,
that is the most disturbing movie. I seen that as a kid, and that just. I didn't know what to make of that at the time.
Sleepaway Camp.
Do you know do you know the movie or no?
It's been a while. Let me make sure I have.
Well,
the right one.
Remember this. Like the whole plot of the movie is at the end. Like, okay, picture this. It's like 1986, right? You're not even born yet, are you, Reese?
No.
And you're like 10 years old. You watch this movie where this girl is killing all these kids in the sleepaway camp, and she's one of the people in the camp. She's one of the kids. You find out at the end, for some unknown reason, that she's really a boy. And how do you find this out? She's naked, holding a knife, and her dick is just hanging out there.
I'm looking at Google Images right now.
Oh my god! You're looking at the image I just told you about.
Yes. What the fuck?
Okay, so you're just like, what the fuck did I just watch, bro? Like,
I like somebody.
the most disturbing scene in any horror movie I ever seen. That's for sure.
I also see a picture here of somebody putting that girl up next to Sarah Silverman.
She looks like her. Oh my god, she's a hairy girl.
That is a disturbing. What is? Did they explain that?
No, that's the end of the movie, bro.
I apparently was thinking
campers, the counselors catch her like that.
I would have remembered this. Jesus.
Dude, that shit threw me off. I was like 10, 11. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, I don't get it. Like, how is she a girl? What the fuck, dude?
Remake this movie with Blair White.
She'd be perfect for it.
Lord in heaven, no.
Oh my god, that's so amazing.
Guys, come on.
Dude, I can't. That is the funniest thing I think I ever heard, by the way.
What the fuck is
Put Blair White as the fucking. But she's too old. They're like kids in the. So she's like a 8-10-year-old girl in the fucking movie that's killing people.
This is just
so basically the plot of the movie is that some fucking person, you know, regendered their kid and sent her to sleepaway camp, and she who was a he was killing people.
Oh, they would not be able to remake that today.
They would though, it'd fit right in with this gender shit now.
Yeah, but like if they portrayed like a trans child as the villain, people would lose their shit.
That's true.
They would freak the fuck out. It'd be insane.
This guy says he's gonna flag all your videos.
Smeagol. I think I remember this troll, but not that well. Remind me who you are.
Of course, a guy with a fake name and face would flag your videos. What else would he do?
Smeagol Precious is going to flag me. Well, at least he announces.
Shocking. A coward would do something cowardly. What a fucking shock.
Why? Like, to what end, though?
Get you off like you can't make another account.
I hope you understand. Like if my channel was flagged down, like I would be a free speech martyr. I'm dead sure of it.
You would tour with Dave Rubin.
Yeah, like he would.
Dave Rubin would want you on instantly.
He would forgive me of everything, and like he'd be like, you know what, I'm here for you, man.
Yeah, but how does he how does Dave Rubin justify oh, get some black guy on here, get some Blair White on here, and that Nightmare Fuel's a troll.
Yeah, but these people I talk to are not trolls.
Because I guess you don't have 200,000 subs. So.
I disagree with. If you disagree, you're a troll.
Yeah, wait, but he had people on that weren't that popular. Like, how many subs does that guy T have?
100,000 or so.
Oh wow, he has that many. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he much smaller when he went on there?
I'm not sure.
I remember that first batch of YouTube people. He had the fucking what's his face on the Pharaoh. He didn't have that many, but he had the right story though.
Yes, he did.
I guess.
F to pay respects for Reese's channel. Yes.
F for flagging down Reese's channel.
Yeah. Press F for flag.
Reese, have you gotten any strikes?
On Twitter.
No, on YouTube. Have you ever gotten a strike?
No.
Wow.
I'm surprised.
How the fuck have you done that?
I'm special.
I think I've gotten 5 in the last 7 months. Like I got none. Nice.
Jesus.
You're due for a flag. Maybe that guy was right.
I am so terribly sorry.
I think like between me and Devin in the last fucking 6 months, we got like fucking over fucking 12 flags, like at least. It's so crazy. And like half of them are on old videos. What does Uzulu do now? Doesn't he play like Dungeons and Dragons with Sargon?
He just pretty much cucks to Sargon. Like that's his existence. Is Sargon is being attacked.
He's his jester.
Yeah, he's like V 2.0. That's it.
V's all right. I don't mind V. Like, V at least has a mind of his own.
Uzulu is not relevant in the slightest.
Uzulu is Tom Gebbett.
That as well. That's also true.
Oh my God, see Billy, you just fucking doxed him.
You doxer. Just to report the poll I ran, people overwhelmingly 76% to 24% voted for horror sequels as opposed to reboots. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I guess so. Why fuck with the good thing? But I can't expect much out of the sequel.
Yeah, there's just been so many shitty sequels.
Especially since, like, if you're not the original writer of the story and now you're telling me your version of the events after are going to be the real story.
Yeah, they're trying to. It's basically canon at that point. What did you see? Did you see the Evil Dead remake a couple of years ago?
No.
So that one's interesting because it is made by the same people.
What do you mean?
Sam Raimi directed that as well. It's actually a pretty decent remake because of that, I think.
What did he do with it though?
It's modernized a little bit. It's definitely bloodier. It's just updated for a modern audience, pretty much.
The original is amazing.
It is. I don't really see the
rape
point.
Tree in the new one.
Yes, I do believe so. I don't think it's as memorable. That's an iconic scene.
Produced, not directed it, apparently.
Oh, sorry, he produced. Well, he was just him being involved means something, I think.
Yeah, Romero.
Yes, there is a rape tree. Of course. How can you tell that story without a rape tree?
Oh, yes, he was answering. I was like, I thought he was asking. There's a rape tree? What?
Hashtag Reese is a cop. Where are we getting
Reese
that idea?
Is a cop.
Hey, wouldn't it be funny if I was this whole time
a police officer?
Like, and I was secretly like just busting gangs and shit.
No wonder you speak ill of the fucking blacks.
Yeah, while I'm out police officering, I only target blacks, just so you know.
Jennifer's Body, that sounds very familiar. Is that fucking...
It had Megan Fox.
Yes,
she's a creature that eats men.
I seen it actually randomly. That's something I would never watch, but somehow did. Say the N-word to prove you're not a cop. That's sort of backwards now.
Yeah, a little bit.
If he says the N-word, it proves he is a cop.
Because all cops are racist, as we know.
Yes. You know what's funny? I seen like videos of some black cops from New York City, and they talk like Italians. It's so fucking funny. There's a couple like that. It's too fucking funny because they're hanging out with all these. I guess they probably grew up with dudes like that their whole life, so that it's just too funny to hear. Like when you got like this thick Brooklyn like Italian accent, but it's coming from a black dude.
Wow.
Was that racist?
Yeah, that was where you crossed the line.
Oh shit.
Way too offensive.
I'm gonna go on Mike Enoch's podcast now.
And talk about how Auschwitz was like a great destination spot.
It was a great fucking travel
They had a
destination.
pool,
Vacation destination. They had a pool, bro.
tennis courts,
Showers, bro. The showers.
They had a shower.
Get a tan in the fucking sun tanning bed.
Wait, isn't that the oven?
Yeah.
Hey, look, Auschwitz has a sauna.
Look, they got public transportation in here. They'll delouse you to.
Oh yeah, they take care of you. They give you free clothes, free beds, free housing. It's
Free
great.
food. It's the commune, comrade.
Shut the fuck up, liberals. Oh, finally, the tankies have showed up. Where have you been? I missed you, actually. I was really wondering where you went.
Well, it's cool now. Now we're being called liberals instead of racists.
Yeah, it's
We're the opposite end.
it's the balance the universe needs. We've been called alt-right for 2 hours now. We can stand this.
Oh man, we've been on for a while.
Yeah, it's probably late to where you're
2
at.
hours at least. It says.
Yeah, if you need to log off, I understand.
Probably should.
Well, it's great to have you on, as always, my man.
Thank you for having me on proper, like you said.
Proper.
By the way, send that pic, bro.
The pic of the chick with the dick.
No, bro. The,
Of the
your new
shirt I bought from you.
shirt.
Yeah, I will do that.
dick pic,
Absolutely.
bro. Send the dick pic.
Send a dick pic.
Yeah.
I got
Get with
one.
the times here. It's all about the only thing that goes in DMs are dick pics. We all know that.
I'll troll somebody and be like, I'm gonna send you a dick pic and send that girl screaming with her dick out.
I'm gonna send you my dick pic, bro. Fucking send that bitch.
Let me slide in your DMs. I got a real juicy.
Her
pic
name
for
was
you.
Angela. I remember that because I watched it with my friend Angelo at the time. And that's what was fun. He was like, "What the fuck, bro?"
Well, that's just unfortunate. That was clearly him after the transition. Just changed the name.
Dark hair, just like her. It's possible.
Jesus.
That was his story.
This is my story.
Imagine you have to tell that story to someone. I went to a sleepaway camp when I was a kid, and my mom made me a girl, but I was really a guy, and I killed everyone there.
Well, that is certainly a story.
That was definitely alt-right propaganda, bro.
Oh,
Now that I
clearly,
think about it.
portraying a transsexual as a murderer, as a
Yeah.
killer. Yeah.
Definitely. And she was all, pissed off about what had been done to her, Her parents pushed their liberal agenda on her.
It's genius, actually, now that I think about it. And with that, we're going to log off. But thank you all for stopping by. Subscribe to Billy if for some weird reason you're not already. What the fuck are you doing with your life? And we'll catch you next time. Have a good night.